How's everybody doing? It's Friday afternoon, 3 p.m. Do you guys know who our guest is today? We've been promoting it all week. I've got myself a little cocktail here, a little bourbon mule in a julep cup. Don't be confused. The room is filling up quite fast. Welcome to Taste with Space. My name is Ted Simmons, Associate Editor at Whiskey Advocate. Boy, do we have a good one for you today. Ian Somerhalder, Paul Wesley, the Salvatore brothers themselves are going to be joining us to talk about Brothers Bond. They are the brothers in question. Their bond is their friendship. Their bond is this whiskey. We're going to ask them about the creation of this whiskey, their love of whiskey. We're going to take some of your questions as well. The feed is coming in quite hot right now. So if you do have any questions, please do put them in the feed there. I'm going to see if they're around to join us right now. Just here. If you guys have some Brothers Bond, let us know in the feed. Ian and Paul will be here very shortly. We're 1 minute in. Thank you guys for being patient. I sent them a request. Ian and Paul, if you guys are there, you guys can send me a request as well. We have 12 questions piling up. Goodness gracious. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient. We're going to get Ian and Paul in here. I see that you have your bottle. Won't open it, though. We'll get another bottle. You're watching Vampire Diaries right now. It says Brothers Bond Bourbon is unable to join. We're going to give them a little bit more time to join the room. Again, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We have 1,700 people in the room right now. That is quite a lot. I know. Where's Paul Wesley? We're going to get him here. We'll get Ian in here. I made a little bourbon mule here using Brothers Bond. I appreciate everybody who's in here. I'm going to continue to try and patch them in. They're going to be joining from the Brothers Bond account. I keep sending requests to you guys. I see that we have 74 questions. This is going to be a little bit hard to manage for me, but it's okay. Thank you so much, everybody who's here. I know that the guys are excited. I'm super excited. You guys could not be more excited. Where are they? We're gonna get them in here. Apologies for the delay. We're connecting over the internet here. This is Taste with Space, and so the space component does require a little bit of patience, a little bit of technical difficulties. Yes, everybody is asking where they are. Let me try them one more time. Ian and Paul, if you guys are in there, you can say something in the feed so I can see you. I promise you that they will be here, guys. It says Brothers Bond is unable to join right now. Let's get them in here, guys. We're going to figure this out. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's on my phone.
Oh, it's on your phone.
Yeah.
Great. What's up, everybody?
Look who it is.
Woo! What's happening?
Where are we sitting? It's been we don't know how to do Instagram. We're both very old.
We've been
Hold on a sec.
We've been shooting so much stuff.
So here.
We've been shooting so much stuff in our space. So
Yeah.
why don't we sit here, dude? We gotta.
Okay.
It's more comfortable.
Okay. Bear with us, dudes.
And dudettes.
Dudes and dudettes.
What's up, my man?
It's all good. How are you guys doing?
Good, brother. Sorry for the wait, everybody. We were having a little trouble logging on.
Technical difficulties.
It's all good. You guys are like out in the mountains or something, right? You're out on like the ranch where you
We're
guys
in the
make
middle.
Brothers
Well,
Bond,
right now we're in our studio, but it's just been. I was getting. Oh, you have a julep, a frosty julep.
So actually, this is a bourbon mule, and I can't see you guys, but this was happening to me last week as well. If everybody can see them, just let me know. You guys sent me this julep cup. I didn't have a Brothers Bond branded, which is kind of a mouthful. Mule cup. So this is I have the little garnish here.
I don't think you can.
No. Okay.
Hey, real quick, can we?
He can't see us.
Can you see it? Can everyone see us? Is there anyone?
Yes,
Can
I
you
think
guys-
I had this issue last week too. I have tech support on the other line, so they can see you, so it's all good. I can fly.
Oh, they can.
Yeah, I can fly blind. It's fine.
Okay.
Everybody, we are. Oh, sorry, everybody. We are just.
So
I just want to say, we are so excited to be on this with you. You guys. Whiskey Advocate is just. You guys are so good to us and such powerhouses, and to be here with all of our people and you all is really special. So
Yeah.
let's dive in, man. I'm so sorry we can't see you.
Yeah. And thank you for taking the time to talk to us. We really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, dude.
well, listen, we are nothing compared to the Vampire Diary heads out there, which I don't know that I fully understood your guys' popularity until this week. And our mentions have been an entire mess, a good mess, a beautiful mess. But this is the
That's beautiful.
power. This is the power of the Salvatore brothers, right? Everywhere you guys go.
It's pretty special. I mean,
so that we can hear him. I'm having a hard time hearing.
what are you looking for?
A cup, so it like.
You want to use one of those?
Yeah, I guess this is
Yeah.
easier. Yeah.
Man, I mean, for us, it's such a, we had such an incredible run. We have such an amazing support system, a base of people who have, we just had so much support. And so it's really kind of incredible when we stop and we think about it. And so I'm grateful that you get to also see that and sort of be a part of it, because it's definitely like nothing else. Period. So we love all of, everyone on this live. Is really, we're so happy you're here with us.
Yeah. So I have a cocktail here, and it's not something that we got to talk about. We spoke over Zoom a couple weeks ago. And Ian, I know you're from Louisiana, which has a huge, rich cocktail history. I wanted to start off there. What cocktails do you guys like to drink? What do you mix Brothers Bond bourbon with? What's your cocktail game like?
Well, I mean, like Ian and I, we love cocktails. I'll speak for myself, but I think I'm speaking for you as well. We love drinking our bourbon either neat or on the rocks.
Yeah.
That's like our thing, and
Because it's just so smooth.
it's so smooth, and it's just so delicious. It's like and so that's like our preferred. But if it's summer and you're hanging out and you want something refreshing and you just want to like chill out, but whatever, we have such an amazing seasonal drink strategy. We put together this one drink that, I don't know why my phone keeps doing that. We put together this one drink that is just so good, and it's called the Mystic Charmer, and it's just so delicious.
It's pretty damn yummy.
Yeah, yeah.
We do have a pretty unbelievable sort of like signature cocktail drink strategy built out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was talking to my mom. I mean, like, for people who can't just, our bourbon is so smooth, but for people who can't just drink it neat or out of the rocks, the Mystic Charmer, or even just Brothers Bond splash it, just like soda, Brothers Bond ginger. I mean, it's just so good,
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need anything with it, but man, ice and Brothers Bond is really kind of like
But like
all you need.
My go-to back before I even before we created Brothers Bond and before any of this, my go-to cocktail was always a Manhattan. That was my thing, because it's not too sweet. It's got this like, there's just something incredible about a Manhattan. And I'd always have it in Manhattan growing up. So
I'm gonna post right now that we are live together. So keep talking.
Do it, yeah. I went to the Brothers Bond website for a little inspiration. You guys have 13 recipes on there. So if anybody
So
is,
good, right?
if anybody is looking for a way to, I mean, it's Memorial Day weekend. I don't know about you guys. I play bartender when I'm together with the family. How are you guys going to be enjoying Brothers Bond this weekend?
Yeah, by the way, what are you doing for Memorial Day weekend, Ian?
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm sure we're launching a company. So
I know. It's like
there's always stuff like
there's always something going on.
our schedules are to the 15-minute mark. So it's like,
But I will say I thought about throwing a little barbecue. Now that things have kind of, now that things have opened up a little bit and it's outdoors, and I thought about inviting some friends and having a barbecue. And it's just so much more fun to have a barbecue when you have your own bourbon brand.
that is the truth.
Totally. And bourbon pairs great with a lot of grilled meats. So whether you're doing burgers, steak, bourbon with all of those stuff, the sweetness of the bourbon with some of the savory of the meat, it's a great combination.
Yeah, I'll tell you, because I'm vegan but I chow down on like amazing vegan meats. Like yesterday, we did a shoot in the middle of nowhere in this incredible Airstream in Malibu. And we were grilling and having Brothers Bond, and I had it with like Beyond sausages, and it was just incredible. Like paired perfectly together. So for non-meat eaters, you can still, get that sensation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, now I realize, because we're going to do family time, because obviously Paul and I are, we're launching this company, so it's hard to get any family time right now. So I'm definitely looking forward to just having some bourbon, chilling out with the family, getting into the pool, spending time with the dogs and the chickens and the baby and my wife and family. And
it goes dogs, chickens, then baby.
No,
then what?
in no certain order. In no certain order. But, again, obviously being, people are now sort of getting out, and we're obviously still, people are cautious, but, we are out, man. We're in stores. We are in Arizona. We are in New York. We are in Washington. We are in California. And we are in Michigan. And so we're out. So we're ecstatic that people, this is our first Memorial Day. It's the first national holiday that people are actually going to be sitting.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
With Brothers Bond.
Yeah. Yeah. And this did just launch May 1st. So the reason we have you guys here, obviously we love you and we love the whiskey, but this just launched kind of nationally May 1st, right? Even though
it's sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's sort of like it's a slow rollout. So May 1st, it's California, and gosh, I'm blanking. What states are we on May 1st? California.
Oh yeah, California, Michigan, Arizona, Washington, and now literally New York.
We're just rolling in New York. We're just rolling into
But then June 1, it's going to be
Texas,
Florida, Louisiana.
Yeah.
I have a small list, but it's really
so
exciting.
it's a slow rollout. By the end of the year, we'll be everywhere.
Yeah.
And September 1.
We have a lot of ground to cover, and the questions are rolling in. If you guys have any questions for Ian and Paul, put them in the feed. We'll do our best to address them. But I did want to go over some of the stats on the whiskey, and then I thought maybe we could taste the whiskey together. I think a lot of people.
That's what we're going to do.
A lot of people are joining us maybe as Vampire Diary fans, less so maybe bourbon fans. So let's kind of go bourbon 101, how to taste, all of that stuff.
Well, let's convert them,
Yeah. First, I wanted to just share everybody. So this is $40, 40% ABV,
$39.99.
We roll up here. So, 65% corn, 22% rye, undisclosed percentage of wheat and barley, but there is 13% and left. So there are only so many permutations that you can do. It is made in Indiana at MGP. When we spoke on the Zoom, you guys were very candid and transparent about where this came from. So what can you guys just tell me about, the juice, the liquid that's in here?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can go on and on and on. Hold on. So what I'll say, because you were just saying, yes, it's about Bourbon 101, right?
Also,
So-
we should talk about just sort of how meticulous we were in finding these ingredients.
Yeah, I mean,
How-
as far as Bourbon 101, right? This is
Gotta
more.
fix this. Oh,
Don't worry about it. This is more about fun. This is about consumers. This is about hanging and talking. Obviously, bourbon is the true American spirit. It's sweet. It's dynamic. It has a lot of amazing flavors going on. So Bourbon 101, obviously, is corn, malted barley, wheat, and rye. To be a bourbon, a straight bourbon whiskey, you have to be at least 51% corn and aged a minimum of 4 years, which we're really excited. We'll talk about later some of the line extensions coming down the road and our older bourbons that we have. So, we are 65% corn, 22% rye. Anything over 18%, obviously, is high rye content. And yeah, you're right. We do keep that wheat and barley to ourselves. Paul and I spent 6 months just adjusting, just getting into this place where we just knew that we had gotten the blend right. So we don't have our sniffing. I mean, our tasting glasses.
I want to fix my phone keeps
accidentally
going to
took them.
sleep. I just want to
No, it's all
really.
good.
Can I fix it
No,
real quick?
you can't. You'd have to go into all kinds of settings and stuff. Don't worry about it.
No? All right. Keeps going to sleep, so if it hangs up on you, see? Like right there. We just
So-
keep tapping it.
So the one thing is, I think if you're going to be, for people out there, and I know it's might be early, but if you have some bourbon, or particularly our bourbon, in your hands, when you're smelling this, right, everybody?
Yeah.
You're getting that like baked banana bread. You smell that?
Definitely, yeah. It's got that toasty. I was gonna say maybe more of like a wheat bread, but definitely it's got that bready quality.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Like a wheat. Yeah, for me, I smell a ton of banana.
Banana, and also too, believe it or not, honeysuckle. There's like an element, because in Louisiana we have so much honeysuckle, and I get that like banana bread, honeysuckle kind of, and then obviously going in, it's like you said. Listen, we are very proud of our bourbon at MGP because we built and sourced out only the highest quality of MGP bourbon. I mean, they've been making bourbon for 110 years. They know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, I talked to plenty of whiskey makers who I say, so it says distilled in Indiana, that's MGP, and they just go blank, right? And they just don't want to say it. And it's like, well, it's out there. People know, so why not embrace it?
yeah, no, it's I think because I don't know why there was such a stigma about that. You don't have to be like a micro distillery these are the people that have been making bourbon for over a century. And so obviously, we are going to build a distillery and we are going to have our own world, like a Brothers Bond world, which we're truly, truly excited about. But when you get into this, for the new bourbon drinker, it sounds a little crazy to just be drinking straight bourbon, but we got this to a place where you can just drink it right out of the bottle because it is that smooth and nuanced.
Yeah, and I think the thing that we were chasing in a nutshell, just on a super kind of like basic level, what we were chasing was we wanted it to be complex enough for people like Ian and myself. We've been drinking bourbon for over a decade, but we wanted it to be approachable for people who don't think of bourbon as their spirit of choice or dark spirits in general. They prefer tequila or vodka or something. We really wanted this bourbon to be like a really something that they can taste right out of the bottle or on the rocks and go, oh my God, wow, I didn't realize it was so smooth. Because so many times we think of these sort of like really kind of, I guess, harsh tasting dark spirits, and that's the stigma that comes with a darker spirit. And we really wanted to kind of make sure that it was approachable enough, but yet nuanced.
Right, exactly.
I think in that mash bill really achieves that for you guys. There's complexity, there's nuance, even at 40%, which is the minimum to be whiskey. But when you taste it, it's not fiery. It's not necessarily aggressive.
Exactly.
And I think
Ian's got this line that he always says that is kind of the new Ian. It's the Ian line that he coined, but it's accurate. It's life kicks you in the teeth. Your bourbon doesn't have to, which is true. You know, it's like, and you know, the reality is we will have all sorts of line extensions and age statements and you know, so we're going to be, you know, we'll have that harsh, you know, hard. I'm not going to say it's still going to be delicious,
No,
but it'll be
delicious, but
it'll be a little bit more, you know, specific.
the 100
I was
proof
saying,
version
you guys
of
need
this
to
is
do.
50,
You guys need to have
50%.
you guys should have a Brothers Bottled in Bond, right? Doesn't that
Yeah,
just
we
need-
have.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
That's
That
what we're
bottled
working
in
on.
bond, 50% Brothers Bond is going to be. It's
We have a blender.
astronomical.
We actually have a blender already.
And so
Yeah.
that we are so excited to come to market with, because that's also going to, you know, what I've been hearing from people is, you know, a lot of our buddies, you know, like Gen Z gals or millennial gals and guys are saying, you know, what's going to be great about that is I can crush this, you know, 80 proof, and my husband or my boyfriend or my dad or my brother, they're going to crush the 100 proof or the 50%. And
Right.
so it's just a great balance, right? And it's all the same similar profile. It's just the ABV is different. So, you know, this is why we crafted this. So if you want to like dive into a little bit, you know, obviously for me, and you know this as well, we say this all the time because your first sip of bourbon is not going to be your best because you don't know what's on your tongue.
Right. I mean,
Chocolate.
you're going to get ethanol. I mean, it's an alcoholic product. I mean, I always say your second sip is your most informed sip because your palate has adjusted.
Exactly. It's been adjusted. It's also, you know, within that adjustment, like for people who wouldn't understand or don't know, and they say, well, what does adjusted mean? I mean, ultimately, you know, it's clearing off because that alcohol will take off. It'll clear it, clean that palate. It'll also give your tongue a nice sort of base layer of the sugars and the oak and the spice and the nuance of that bourbon. So once that second hit comes over, woo, it's really, you're right, it's informed. So let's go ahead and taste this, everybody. So
yeah. If you have, again,
get that
if anybody has Brothers Bond out there, pour it in your glass. We're going to taste this together.
You get that great nose. You have some small sips, you don't get so much heat. Or if you get bigger sips, you can blow out the heat. Heat is that alcohol taste.
Yeah, it's got a nice creamy texture to it. The body nice, even at 40%. Sometimes we sip a 40% whiskey. It's a little silky. It's a little light.
Exactly.
It has the body.
It has such a great viscosity. It's you know, and it's just got this like what you said. To me, there's like a creamy banana oaky. You know, it's just, God, I love it.
I do too. And then, so for everybody at home, or at work, which I doubt you're drinking bourbon at work, but I mean, I guess we are.
Well, I mean, I'm at work right now, guys.
But after, you know, as you're tasting that, now you're going to get that little kick of sweet on the back end. You feel that? You taste that? And what you just experienced is what we call an equal sensory proportion, meaning, you know, all of those grains are expressed over your palate, but in total balance and harmony. And Paul and I, we're not trying to sound, you know, too kumbaya about it. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he and I really busted our asses trying to figure out, which is how do we get people to share this and love every second of it as an experience, you know?
Yeah.
You really screwed this one up, Paul.
And I should say, you know, I'm sipping out of a tasting glass right now. However, anybody wants to enjoy their whiskey is entirely up to them. If you want to mix it with Coke, if you want to put it on a bunch of ice, if you want to drink it out of a plastic cup, maybe that's not the best way to do it, but it's your whiskey. You can decide how to drink it.
100%. What was that magazine article? I don't remember. You even texted me. You're like, dude, this is so good. It was a cover I did. I don't remember, but it was Nobleman. And in these big print, the magazine printed, bourbon. So it was a quote from me. Bourbon should be consumed however the hell you want it to be. There's no snobby, like, you know, man.
That's right.
Yeah, we're like, it's not about that. I mean, I have horse shit on my boots and dirt under my fingernails. Like,
again,
you know, because I mean, at the end of the day, we were talking to this master distiller that we work with, right? He's a master blender, rather, and he's
one of the best in the world.
He's phenomenal, and he's become kind of a mentor for the brand and really helped us and guided us. And we were asking all these questions, you know, and he said, "Look, guys," and this, you know, this guy's a PhD in bourbon essentially, and he's like, it's your taste palette. Nobody can argue with, everything is subjective. It's a subjective taste palette, and all this kind of like, well, this is right and this is wrong. Yeah, of course there's like, but at the end of the day, this is me and Ian. This is what we like, and this is what we're putting out into the world,
Yeah, I've spoken to a lot of people who, when they first started drinking whiskey, they'd mix it with Coke, and then maybe they graduate to ice, and then they graduate to neat. If this is your first whiskey, if you are a Vampire Diaries fan and you pick this up because of that, I don't think the expectation is that you jump in neat, right? The expectation is
Sure.
Approach it how you want, get yourself familiar with it.
Sure.
Yeah, however you feel comfortable with, ice honestly is really a great way because it does condense the flavor a little bit, but it also gives a little bit of dilution.
Yeah,
even just after a minute.
And cooling the liquid is also a great way to kind of make it a little more approachable for people who aren't used to it.
Right. Or even a little soda or a little ginger or whatever you have, that's going to open it up for you so you can get in there and experience. And like you said, stop down or graduate to something where you can really experience just the flavor of it.
Yeah, I will say, if there's one way to enhance your enjoyment, and this is really what the ethos of the brand is about, share it, right?
Absolutely.
Share the whiskey. I'm actually getting together with my buddies next Friday for the first time in over a year to share some whiskey together. And that's
great.
What I really love about this is that
that's it.
It's about coming together. You guys came together as a result of being cast on this show where you you had to drink bourbon, but a true friendship blossomed because of that. And this is about, and all whiskey will be better when you share it. That's like,
yes, that's exactly it. And we have like, the name is Brothers Bond, but that's a nod to Ian and myself. At the end of the day, this is whoever you're drinking this with. You're creating a bond. We want this bourbon to be consumed with someone. With a group, with another person, whatever, and to celebrate and to connect. And that's it. And that really is what alcohol should be. Alcohol should be a symbol of connecting and celebrating and kicking back and relaxing and connecting with one another. And that's what it should be. End of story.
Yeah,
100%, man.
So I have a couple of questions here for you guys too.
Tell us.
Who would you, because this is about sharing a whiskey together, who would you love to share a whiskey with throughout time?
Oh, man.
Because the reason I ask this is because on the show, the Salvatore brothers have been alive for a very long time.
Long time.
Vampire, it's possible they were drinking with Jack Daniel himself, right? I think.
Probably.
Maybe Jim Beam. So is there anybody you guys would love to share a dram with?
Man, there are some really badass people that I'd love to share a dram with. But I'll tell you, just from studying and just the endless amounts of interviews and things I've really watched in this guy. And I lived in South Africa for a little while, but my mom and I talked about this the other day, and I said, Mom, who I'd really love to sit and have pour a Brothers Bond whiskey with would be Nelson Mandela. What a powerhouse of compassion and forgiveness and love, and to sit there across from someone like that and share a bourbon, I just think would be on another level. You know
who I think of? I think of classic old school writer. It'd be great to sit down with like Ernest Hemingway.
Oh,
sit down with Ernest Hemingway.
It'd probably be a pretty dark conversation.
Yeah. But
you guys would have to bring more than one bottle.
What's that?
You'd have to bring multiple bottles.
Yeah. By the way, he was a big, probably not in a good way, but he was a drinker, But sure, he has experience. He could tell me whether he enjoys the palate of Brothers Bond.
Oh man, I think about those old. I read everything. You think about just being down in the tropics with those guys, and they all drank gin tonics because tonic has quinine or quinine, whatever your pronunciation is, which is an anti-malarial.
Is that right?
That's the only reason.
Wow.
That's why they drink gin and tonics in the tropics.
Wow.
So
full of information, this guy.
Useless information.
Great for Jeopardy.
Paul, you promised good Ian quotes, so he knows how to deliver.
He sure does.
Damn.
You guys said to me over Zoom that you guys would go to concerts together and bring whiskey in flasks. What are some memorable concerts or just some memorable whiskey moments that you guys have shared together?
Dude, remember when we saw the National at the Fox Theater?
Oh yeah, that was great.
Dude, we saw the National.
You know that band?
I do. I'm familiar. Yeah.
Oh man,
they're so good.
At the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia,
which is like a classic theater that has been around for God knows how long, and you know, countless acts have performed there, and yeah, we saw the National there. They had a song there. I remember at the time the album had a song called like Bloodlust or something, which I thought was quite ironic.
No, it's called Blood Buzz.
Blood Buzz,
which is one of my favorite tracks, and it's weird.
And we're like, you know, playing vampires, and he's like, "I'm on a blood," but we're like drinking.
Well, he said I'm on a. Well, also too, you got to remember this is 2009 or 10, and you know, not for nothing. I mean, it was a really bad economic time in the world. It was 2 years post 08, right? And there was a lot of people just like really struggling. And then here, Paul and I, we were talking about this, like how grateful we were, but to be on this sort of like rocket ship that is a successful television show, or that was specifically the Vampire Diaries. That was a really memorable moment.
Yeah,
but I
cool.
did drink. I got really smashed.
Yeah, we brought because you know, not to I'm not going to name the brand, but there's a specific whiskey that is always at like certain concerts, and it's only that whiskey, and I won't drink it, and I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm like, you know, I walk in, I'm like, I'm not drinking that shit, and so I brought my own flask with my own, you know, whiskey of my choice.
Yeah. There you guys go. Now, Ian, you were on a show that I did watch and love called Lost, and I wanted to ask you, this is a popular question, a desert island whiskey. I know you guys are probably going to say Brothers Bond, but do you guys have a desert island whiskey?
We built this. Honestly, can I say something? I'm going to sound like such a tool. I mean, obviously, we are building out insane line extensions for this, and you do a lot of research. I don't drink bourbon other than our own. And now, as in California, we're going to start going to restaurants. You know, we were at this place called Wally's, which I'm sure, of course, you know Wally's in LA. The one in Beverly Hills and the one in Santa Monica. We were in 2 days ago with our RNDC distributor partners and our head of sales and Paul and I, and it was and the guys are running, you know, Wally's, which is like, you know, an institution when it comes to wine and spirits. And we drank Manhattans sitting on a Santa Monica street having lunch. And it was the first, I got chills, man. My eyes were like,
it's the first time
water.
we
had our bourbon that was on a shelf in a bar, especially Wally's. And Paul and I are toasting with our partners.
It's great.
And our executive this first time.
Yeah, it was great.
It was unbelievable. And it was the best freaking Manhattan I'd ever had.
Yeah. So it's hard to talk about. I'm sure there's a lot of phenomenal whiskeys
100%.
out there, but it's hard to talk about anything other than Brothers Bond after all the time and effort and the amount of passion we have for it.
That's why you guys are here. So I did want to ask, you know, I've seen pictures of you guys with the graduated cylinders, and you guys said that this was months, really years in the making. Did you find whiskey making to be kind of maddening and frustrating, or very exciting, right? You know, was there
Exciting
any part
as hell.
of the process? Yeah.
It's like creating art. I mean, it is, you know, you're creating something from the ground up that is then going to be distributed in, you know, thousands and thousands of bottles, and eventually, and I, you know, it's really an art form. I mean, blending is an art form.
Millions.
Yeah, but you know, it's an art form, and it's amazing.
Well, the artistry of whiskey is not just, it's not in the distilling. I mean, well, let me say this. You have to be an amazing distiller. There's no doubt. But the true art in whiskey is in the blending. And like Paul said, I mean, there were times for sure when we would look at each other and we think we're getting closer and closer, and it doesn't work out. And it's been 2 weeks trying to find this one thing. And we're like, man, we are chasing a ghost, but we're going to get it. We're going to get it. And for us, it was never really frustrating. It's like Paul said, we're just creating, right? So there's no, it's just been a magical experience. It's literally magical. The positioning of this bottle, all the little hearts from people sending emojis saying, you know, they love that comment or something. It looks like there's smoke coming out. See that? It's like, yeah, it's
We're
great.
getting a lot of messages from people asking when it's coming to Europe and various countries outside of America. So I just want to, you know, answer that for you guys asking. 100% we'll be expanding.
We're
we will
busting our asses.
We'll be all over. We'll be in Canada. We'll be in Europe. We'll be in South America. You know, we're going to be heading all over. We're starting here in the United States. But you know, rest assured, it's coming your way, guys.
We'll be all over the world.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
So I have a lot of questions are coming in. I have my colleague who's actually filtering them and sending me to them over GChat. So we spoke about this over Zoom, but what was it like kind of going into business with a close friend, right? So you guys were colleagues and then became friends and now you're business partners. What has that evolution been like?
It was always just, we've just been in it for 11 years. There was never a...
Yeah, kind of, well, I mean, it's you know, first of all, yeah, I mean, I agree with Ian. It's sort of organic, right? We never were like, okay, let's go into business. It was just kind of like, hey, let's, you know, we spend so much time together, you know, and you just start to talk about ideas and you start to talk about, you know, what your dreams are and what you want. You spend so much time with someone.
We also been talking about this for 10 years.
That's what I mean. So we've been wanting to do this forever. And so it was kind of just natural, you know? Yeah. Gosh, yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's so wild. You know, we spent 8 years on TV together, and then the last 4 years really, you know, pushing and developing, and then the last really few years, the last 2 especially years of just really kind of, pardon my French, you know, just balls to the wall, never stopping. It's every single day, all day. You know, Paul is shooting something in Romania and it's just like, wow, man, to be back on a set, because we've been running a company, you know, it's like you know, we have the most amazing team, and our CEO, Vincent Hanna, and I, we've been in business for 7 years. He's known Paul forever. We are, you know, Paul and I there was never a transition. We just knew these are our dreams. This is what's going to happen. And, you know, and fortunately Vincent came in and built a team around us of just the most amazing people in this business. And here we are, you know.
Do you guys remember the first whiskey you shared together?
It was on set, probably. I mean, you know, well, maybe not. I mean,
no way.
Maybe not.
We drank bourbon.
Because you guys were drinking iced tea on set.
We drank bourbon at the Sutton place.
Right. At the when we were shooting the pilot, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
No.
Was it Canadian whiskey? What were we drinking?
No, I mean, I was drinking bourbon that whole time.
It's crazy how when you're on a TV show, and your character drinks bourbon, right, nonstop, you get out, and you're obviously you're not you know, as an actor, you want to do as much as you can to kind of, you know, invest in the character so that when you're appearing on screen, it's authentic. And so, you know, subconsciously, I was like, oh, all right, well, I'm a bourbon drinker now, you know. So, you know, as a result of my character drinking bourbon, I started drinking bourbon. It's why I became, and, you know, obviously we were also shooting in Georgia. It's the South, and you know, bourbon, and, you know, originates, you know, obviously from the South. And so, you know, I think that also lended itself to perfect, you know, kind of storm of, you know, becoming bourbon crazy.
Yeah, we got this, you know, this familial, you know, bourbon. Listen, the South is so, that culture, bourbon is so intertwined and woven into the cultural fabric of the South. I mean, Paul and I were talking, he's like, you know, I would always talk with Paul about just remembering, like, you know, Sundays after church, all the adults, you pick mint, and the kids, we had sugar cane, right? You just cut it down with a cane, and you just milk that sugar cane. You get all this unbelievable fresh sugar cane juice. And, you know, with the kids, you're muddling it with the mint. So for me, that smell and that taste, and also too, we'd be sipping the cane sugar water with the mint. First of all, as kids, you're high as a kite from all the sugar. And then without the adults knowing, we would just like steal one mint julep for a second and just like run and have a couple of sips and then put it back. But it was always part of the culture. And so that smell and that taste, there's something I've, always known. As an adult, I'm not like condoning underage drinking. I'm talking about just as kids, it's like, you watch Stand By Me, they steal their dad's Winston's, it's just what kids did. But it was really special.
We have a question here. I'm going to try and catch these as,
let's
what
do
is
it.
it? Yeah, what do you guys do together when you're not working on the company? You guys like to watch a game, or I know you guys go to concerts. You guys are big music lovers, but what does the friendship look like when it's not about the whiskey?
Well, we fortunately our significant others get along and they're buddies, and so we do a lot of like kind of group hangs. What do we?
Well, we're just never not. It sounds so weird to say. We're just never not together.
Yeah.
It's like, whether it's on a phone or a Zoom or we're texting or we're FaceTiming trying to figure something out, or
just hanging at the house.
Or hey, I'm 5 minutes late for dinner. Will you order me? Blah 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 blah. I'm trying to think. Like, there's just not any separation.
Just a lot of dinners and beach hangs and barbecues and, frankly, a lot of traveling too, and going to Europe and God knows where.
Asia, Australia. We've never.
South America. And,
we're just never
everywhere.
not together.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it?
We're just never not together.
You sick of me yet?
For 11 years.
Well, you guys are authentic. I think we can all appreciate that about you. Somebody asked here, and also very nice, what concert are you most excited to go to? Concerts are back. Are you guys?
I'll tell you what I'm excited to go to. I'm excited to go to a festival.
Yes.
Like, God, I want to go. I had such a blast at ACL, for example,
Austin City Limits
or South by Southwest, or
Bonnaroo, or
just I just miss that. And my dream is to have like a Brothers Bond truck that has, and we're talking about it, that, and creating like our own thing that we can then sort of
a true environment.
Yeah.
Like a bonding environment.
Yeah. So like I would love, like I love Austin City Limits. Like I love that one. That's a killer festival. And
well, our company is based. We're a Texas-based company now. So we are based in Texas, and so to be able to spend time, all throughout that state, and Austin and Dallas and San Antonio and all these places, but we are really looking forward to just the activation that we get to be a part of these music festivals as our bourbon company and as just avid freakish music lovers. It's going to be wild, man.
So I asked you guys who you would like to share a Brothers Bond with. Who have you shared a Brothers Bond with? Ian, I know you said you shared some with your mom. Have you guys shared any with some co-stars?
Everyone under the sun.
Oh my God.
Here, drink this. Tell me what you think.
I mean, my mom and my dad love it. And they are really not bourbon people. And they just love it. And they're not just saying that. I mean, I've sent it to at first it was a hard bottle. I mean, it's still a hard bottle to find, but at first it was like, a real commodity. A bottle is like, oh my God, it's super tough to get.
We only had so many and we needed to use them. And
I got so many requests. People wanted a bottle and you got to selectively choose. Unfortunately, like you don't know, so.
Dude, he's going to kill me for saying this. She doesn't really drink, but yesterday on this amazing shoot, we had to go up this really windy road and his mom was like, so freaked out because it's like a 500, 600 foot drop off of the side of this road. And I said, here, Mama, do you want some bourbon? She goes, yes. And so her and I are sitting there drinking bourbon out of a bottle. And Paul walks around the corner and goes, Ian, what are you doing? What are you doing to my mom?
She literally went like this because she hates heights. My mom's in town visiting. It was really funny. She was completely freaked out.
Paul's like, dude, what are you doing to my mom? Giving her it was awesome. And she drank it and she goes, oh, guys, I just love it, And
she's like, wow, this is really good. She doesn't even really drink that much, so it's funny.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, so again, my colleague's feeding me questions that she's filtering from the feed. Someone asked, what's next for you two? Are you guys able to work a lot in addition to promoting this? Is Brothers Bond consuming all of your time?
Everything.
Pretty much. I mean, we're both still doing, you know, other things, and I'm shooting some right now. But I got to tell you, this is priority, you know, and you know, this is really the number one on the agenda. And it's not just, it's not a job. It's a really a passion project. We enjoy it. We enjoy it so much, really. And if we didn't believe in it, we wouldn't be doing this.
Look at what we get to do, man. We're talking to you. We've got, you know, 10,000 people actively right now sending us messages, and you know that, man, it doesn't get any better. You know, I mean, the only thing that's going to take me away from my child has got to be something worth of real value, and
AKA me.
You.
Well, I mean,
This is our biggest priority.
Yeah.
Before we spoke on Zoom, I was watching some videos on YouTube, and you guys have a tremendous community with Vampire Diaries, but whiskey is also about community, right? It's also about connecting with people and being together. So, I mean, I think it maybe seems a little bit different going from, you know, a TV show to a whiskey brand, but I think there's a lot of common ground between them.
Yeah, I do too, actually, and you know, but I'll tell you this much: when we finished our television series, we one of the things that I always said is I don't want to necessarily be a part of something. The next thing that I do, and the next big commitment that I make, I don't want to necessarily be hired to create someone else's vision. Obviously, it's a collaborative effort. You know, when you're doing a TV series or a movie or whatever, it's all, you know, we're all big collaboration. But at the end of the day, it's someone's original idea. And I thought, God, I really want to take part in something that I create with someone from the ground up, you know, and that's what this is. You know, this is our vision from the ground up, which I think is very important.
All those beautiful, warm Georgia nights, you know, talking about this, and freezing cold Georgia mornings, like, you know, we've seen it all together. We've done it all, and
there's so many celebrity brands out there.
You call yourself a celebrity?
I'm calling you a celebrity, and they, you know, and they just slap their names on a bottle, you know, and they're like, oh, you know, buy this, you know. It's like, yeah, but how what do you really know about what you're selling, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're pretty obsessed with this, man. I mean, I made a joke. I was just saying, you know, it wouldn't be socially acceptable, obviously. I mean, maybe like on a brunch, but I mean, I would, you know, with my friends or family, I would drink this with my eggs if it wasn't alcoholic, because just it's just so good. I mean, obviously that's not socially acceptable, and I'm a dad and a business owner, so that's not going to work. But we're just obsessed with the flavor, you know, and that's what we want people to.
Someone wrote, how many times can you open it and smell it, Ian? Jesus.
I know, it's just so freaking good.
Yeah. I did see somebody ask if you guys would make a gluten-free product. All whiskey is gluten-free, even though it uses wheat. The process of distillation, actually, the gluten proteins don't transfer.
That's right. Most celiacs can actually drink bourbon. Yeah. I have a good friend who's a celiac, and he drinks bourbon and has no reaction. So what you said is correct.
Well, yeah, like you said, you know, if you think about, just for everybody listening, and by the way, man, you know this even more than we do, but the distillation process literally it's pretty violent, right? Heating and cooling and alcohol, you know, it deconstructs these molecules. They really change form. So it's not going to affect you in any way. But I can't medically guarantee that. It's just it's kind of a known thing.
Right.
Yeah, my wife has celiac. She doesn't have a taste for whiskey though, so it doesn't really matter to her that it's not it's gluten-free. She's like,
right.
Good thing her husband works for the Whiskey Advocate.
I know, I would love to share some with her, but she's either upstairs watching or asleep right now. So shout out to Jess. Yesterday was our anniversary, actually.
Congrats,
man.
Yeah, 3 years. I know we're deep in the game here. Somebody asked, what's your favorite ingredient in Brothers Bond? I know you guys have a 4-grain mash bill. It's a high rye bourbon, so I have to imagine you guys like rye whiskey as well, right?
We love it.
We love rye.
We love rye. In fact, we're going to be coming out with a rye.
Well, that warm spice is such a unique. It's just, I almost feel too, and this isn't it's maybe not the right lingo, but I always say when I close my eyes, and Paul and I talk about this too, we do these like fun exercises where we really talk about what we're seeing and tasting, we're tasting. But I just feel like rye is that spice that is a viscosity that actually can really carries some of those other flavors with it. You know, it always feels like you get that rye, that spice kind of first, and then it gives way to all these other, it's almost like it's carrying it over your palate, you know, and it's really special. We're working our asses off on our rye because we want it to just, again, it's about uncompromising quality, right? So we're not going to.
Would you guys just flip the corn and the rye and the mash, or would you develop an entire new mash bill?
We develop an entire new mash bill. I think. Yeah,
okay.
And we're working on it right now.
It's again, you know, for the people who are going to appreciate rye, but also to people who don't necessarily know rye well. So again, you're straddling, you know, you want to make that hard line in the sand of saying, we want people to enjoy this either way. And so again, that's quite a feat. You know, this took over a year of blending to get to. Yeah. So we've got we're headed in an amazing direction. We are kind of really excited about it. And also too, you know, it's a much stronger spirit, right? This is it's a stronger spirit, and we know, you know, guys and gals are gonna really dig it. But pretty nuanced, man. Pretty special.
I've got another viewer question here, and we do have to wrap up at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, go for it.
What is your favorite place to drink the bourbon? You guys are outdoorsy guys, so I have to imagine it's with no roof over your head, right?
By the outdoor, you know, obviously California is prone to fires, so I say this with caution. I want to be around a fire. That's like my, you know, I want to be around a fire. I want it to be the evening. I want to have a nice bourbon, Brothers Bond bourbon, either neat or One Rock, and just sip it and chill and be in good company and exchange great stories. That's what I want.
Well, Paul and I have very safe fire elements in our home, so Paul and I get a lot of fireside time. And honestly, Brothers Bond, a lot of conceptually, we did this fireside, really bonding.
A lot of fireside.
Yeah.
I will say I'm a big camping guy as well, so
I love going camping. It does mess with your sensory perception a little bit.
Well, that's, you know, even my dad, my 80-year-old dad, we always thought he was so weird. He would literally take the pot off the stove or grab his plate, and he would walk out of the house under this big oak tree. Say, Dad, what the hell are you doing? And he says, you know, my dad's like crazy, gruffy Cajun voice. Food tastes better outside, son. You know, it's like and by the way,
I love your dad.
He's amazing. He's a trip. But like my family, we eat most of our meals outside. My mom and I, every morning, we have our breakfast and we have our coffee by her pond and stuff. It's all outside. And you're right. You know, taste is 70% smell. Mm-hmm. And being outside gives your sensory, your smell sense such an elevated, the nuances are far greater than they are when you're inside. And so we eat a lot outside, and I prefer it for sure. But also too, I got to tell you, this stuff holds up well at the bar, or, you know, in a cozy place up in the mountains, or, you know, even at the beach, because our drink strategy is just so on point. But I will tell you this. Hold on. I will show you, because we can't throw. Our company's so new, we cannot throw bottles away. This is just an understanding of how many bottles are consumed, but we're so afraid to throw them away. We can't. I have so many bottles at home, and my wife, you know, is like, you know, we repurpose them so nothing gets wasted. But we have so many great. We use them as water vessels or as a vase or anything. I can't bring myself to throw away anything Brothers Bond.
Well, this is your guys' baby. This is your creation, and we do have a question here, and maybe this is a good one to end. But how did you feel when you finally tasted the final product?
I remember when we were at Ian's house and we finally got the blend that we wanted, and we became so obsessed with it that we kept drinking it.
Well, remember we had to save
and
some.
We barely had
test.
any left.
Yeah.
For them to actually duplicate, right?
Yeah.
So then we were like, oh my God, we just spent all this time and we've literally drank it and we have this much left.
Our CMO, Tess, who also functioned for a long time as like COO, brand guru, everything ran through her and Vince and our CEO's fingers. And she just said, like, guys, you've got to send us you have to FedEx us the liquid. We don't have the liquid, you got to stop drinking it. And we literally sent them like an ounce and a half is what that was the final blend. But Paul and I, we tasted it and we looked at each other. And Paul, Paul even tell you, he's like a very kind of mellow, glass half empty kind of guy. Cause he likes to find, I'm
Eastern European. Give me a break.
He's also looking for the holes, he's looking for the things that I'm not looking for. So it's an amazing balance. But sometimes when something happens that's really amazing, Paul gets this look in his eye where he almost sounds like a kid. And I remember we tasted the blend and Paul looks up at me and he goes, "This is really good, man." It's just like, he almost looked like a scared kid. And I just said, "I know." And he's like, "All right, let's just put it down. We'll come back to it in like 10 minutes. So we set it down, came back, tried it again. Nope, still amazing. Set it away. Came back an hour later. Nope, still amazing.
Next day.
And that was just we tasted it at 9 a.m. the next morning because we wanted to make sure that wasn't just this is a 7 p.m. We were just
hammered.
And it was right on.
Still
man.
just as good.
At 9 a.m. It was unbelievable. And then we shipped it out.
I know some of the best whiskey minds who do that as well. It can taste one way in the tasting lab or in the blending lab, but put it in your armchair, right? Put it on, pour a glass while you're watching the game because that's how people are going to drink it, right?
Exactly.
People aren't going to be drinking it in a windowless room like the people who make it are. So
right.
Put it out into the world and see how it is there.
Yeah. Man, everybody on this call, guys, thank you for being a part of this with us. And thank you, Whiskey Advocate, for being such huge support systems for us and really helping guide people, not just to our whiskey. It was not just about selling whiskey. It's about building this community. And we are really grateful to be in this community with you, Whiskey Advocate, and our amazing, amazing fans and support systems who are out there literally right now, literally sucking this off shelves. And I put this in a post the other day, and Paul just said, he's like, "Dude, I really appreciate you did that." We are selling out everywhere, right? Like retailers cannot hold on to this. It's going very fast. In fact, people haven't seen anything like it. And so when I said in the post, I said, get to these retailers while you can. I wasn't trying to be like Mr. Manipulative and say like, "Oh, go buy our whiskey." It's actually true. Retailers can't hold on to it. They can't get more in fast enough. So that's what I meant by it, that it's really flying off the shelf.
And I'm not really seeing, I tried to do a little research. I'm not really seeing markup. I'm not really seeing retailers kind of exploiting that demand. I think it's $40. I think people can find it.
We see it's like 37 in some places, 39.
We really we push as a team for that not to happen. The idea is this isn't about marking things up. This is about sharing and getting more people with these bottles in hand in their homes, poolside, dockside, bar side, whatever it's going to be. That's our commitment to our customers.
I think that's a great place to end. Thank you guys so much. Again, Brothers Bond Bourbon, $40. Go and find it if you can. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with next. Everybody have a safe Memorial Day weekend. Drink responsibly. Share whiskey with your loved ones. Thank you so much, Ian and Paul.
Thanks for tuning in, and thank you for having us, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for everything, Whiskey Advocate. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, all.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, guys.
Bye, everybody.